the political and economic systems that were handed to us by our colonizers have impacted the drug trade and the destruction of families and communities in the Caribbean.
Well, sister, what we must all understand and wrap our mind around is the fact that no illicit business model can survive and prosper if it is not integrated into the legal system of any country. Because remember, all the proceeds of this business is dirty money.
Right.
And to make that money clean, it has to filter into the legal financial system for it to be washed and returned to the client. So what we must understand is that if there was no relationship between the illegal with the legal, between the sacred and the profane, there will be no illicit business model in the world generating billions of dollars in profits, capable of paying off the entire foreign debt of Trinidad and Tobago, the entire internal debt of Trinidad and Tobago, and not even blinking an eyelid. Because that's petty money. So what we must understand is that the illicit business model is part of the capitalist system and its order of power. Because if the capitalist system did not embrace it, it would have shriveled up and died a long time ago. So the capitalist system has embraced it, integrated it into it, because remember, the illicit system is generating billions of dollars in money, and if you're only motivated by profit, you will not turn your back away from a means by which to make money off of the illicit money. So that's the first thing. So you cannot say you are waging a war on drugs and you are not waging a war on the people within the legal system that is facilitating the survival and the growth and expansion of the illicit model. Because the illicit model cannot stand up on its own. It must have organic links with the legal system. And that goes through the entire structure of the world capitalist system. So that is what the first thing we must understand. It does not and cannot operate separate and apart. It is organic too. Secondly, we must understand it cannot operate, thrive, and prosper without compromising your national security apparatus and your political system. So it must be protected by your national security apparatus, and it must be granted impunity by your ruling politicians. So the rule of the game is that the illicit game must always corrupt, compromise, and coerce your national security apparatus and your ruling politicians. And in order for it to become sustainable across time and space as it has been in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean from the 1960s to 2025, that means they have had great success across time and space in continuing to render our ruling politicians and our national security apparatus complicit in the whole affair. If you're not willing to accept that, well, then you're delusional. You're in la land. Because, remember, it is the politicians who have the power to pass all the legislation that keeps our national security apparatus current and relevant to a fight against transnational organized crime. It is the duty of the national security apparatus to be constantly evolving rapidly because the threat has evolved rapidly. What the threat was in 1969 to Trinidad and Tobago, it is no longer the same threat in 2025. If I tell you all what the nature of the threat is today, well then all you might stop listening to Garth and my sister here. Because the threat is now so potently evolved that the issue arises if we can handle the threat. That is the problem. So what we must understand is that this organism, this illicit organism, constantly evolves. So we have reached a stage now with the dominant model of transnational organized crime in the North Atlantic and in the Caribbean and everywhere else. They are now at the leading edge of AI innovation in the fourth industrial revolution, whilst we in the Caribbean continue to muddle through the third industrial revolution. They are at the leading edge of the fourth. So they are no longer dependent upon selling us illicit drugs to make money, because they are now in the business of raiding all your databases, stealing your identity, putting out false documents and taking your house, your car, your safety deposit box, anything they want. Because every single database that exists that they are interested in, they now attack. And it has reached a stage now that they even attack the databases of the US federal government to get what they want. That is what is going on. So in order for them to survive, they must evolve. And they make sure that they evolve to be always at the leading edge. So when you follow their rapid evolution, they are now in the AI innovative age, assaulting. Their play now is cybersecurity.